Hi, my name is Mark Schrenkel. I met Shauna for the first time around January, February of 2002. First time we met was at a McDonald's on Route 8. Kind of funny because um, Patty was saying that Shauna was not readily friendly with strangers. And it was kind of funny because I met her and Tara, and I became Tara's love right then. And Shauna got in. This is back when they used to still have those um, uh, slides and stuff inside. They had a big play area inside, and Shauna went in the slides and stuff like that. She got stuck up in the tubes and wanted me to come up and get her. And honestly, from that point on, for the longest time, Shauna and I were kind of attached at the hip. Didn't know a lot about her situation at the time. She just seemed like a normal, happy, chubby little toddler. Um, and as time went on and I got to know Patty and the girls more, realized what Shauna had gone through. Um, and I thought that, you know, it. I don't know whether the cancer made her as strong as she is, or whether she lucked out that she was the one that got the cancer and she just happened to be that strong to kick its ass. Maybe it's both. I don't know, but she is was very strong. I named her Tank almost immediately. I mean, she was a force to be reckoned with then and still is today. As Shauna was growing up, you know, in age, you know, she was at first she was kind of like the little sister that followed Tara around everywhere. Um, Kind of, you know, that kid on the Christmas story that was in the, you know, she just followed Tara everywhere. But you know, she as she got older, she meeting her own friends and stuff, and we realized that Shauna was one of those that she could only have like one friend around her at a time. She didn't do well in groups. She used to have sleepovers sometimes, and if there's more than one, she'd well, even if there's one, at some point she'd ditch them. She just next thing you know, she's hanging out with us. Um, Interesting kind of situation. But then again, as she got older and would get into school, um, you know, she was always tiny, and always seemed to befriend the biggest person that was in her class or around her. Just seemed to be what she does. Um, and then kindergarten came along, and she was in a play, and I was sitting right in between her mother and father, and just kind of like, you know, am I the only one that think there's something wrong here? And that's when we started struggling with trying to get her on growth hormones. It was frustrating on my part not being able to assert myself more during that because in the end I'm her stepfather, and being adopted, I've always been a very big proponent that, you know, children should try to be around their birth parents as much as possible. And I made that mistake with Shauna. She, I used to make her go with her father when it was his turn. I thought it'd be good for her. I was wrong. um, and I think that a lot of damage was done at that time was Tara and Shauna. Um, I mean, it's hard whenever any child's family breaks up, but it's worse when um, the parents or a parent starts using the children as pawns in whatever agenda they might have. And he's paying for it now. But so are they, because they still have those issues with males. In fact, growing up, Shauna, and she had dolls and stuff, and she just never played with male dolls. They were all females. Shauna always seemed to gear herself towards females, and I think that is telling. Um, I started taking Shauna on her appointments. Patty was very busy, and so I would take that on. And tough girl. And I think that she's lucky that she was as strong as she was, or is. And I admired her for that. I mean, she just took it like a champ. We just got our ice cream afterward, or popcorn, or whatever. But we always stop by and get her a treat. One thing that I think we haven't addressed well enough, I think. I mean, Shauna had part of her brain removed, and she has anger issues, always has. And I think that those two are correlated. I think that there's a direct correlation between those two. And I would love to take Shauna somewhere to get a brain scan to see how her brain, because brains can rewire themselves and stuff. But I mean, she's got an empty space in her skull there, and I would love to know, and I think I'd love Shauna to know. That way, maybe there'd be other ways to be able to take Shauna to get a brain scan just to see what part of her brain is affected. And I have a feeling that it's going to show that her anger issues are a direct result of the part of the brain that's missing. And I think that knowing that, then we could maybe try to find ways to help her work around that, instead of constantly just getting upset and having big blow-ups and stuff like that. I think that's a logical next step, because I mean, she's an incredibly intelligent person. I think that she's making the most of her situation right now. I would love for her to go back to school at some point, because I think that she could do whatever she wants. I think that she's that bright, but right now, with what happened with the show and everything's going on with Instagram and stuff like that, and I mean, it's a lot for a 23-year-old person. I mean, I don't know how I would be able to handle it, but at some point you're going to be my age, and you want to have something that you can fall back on. I mean, there's a lot of what ifs, but it's nothing we can do about it now. Had I pushed Patty to push Scott to put her on the growth hormones, had I not pushed Shauna to go with her father, because I thought that in the end, it would be good for her. And what is that Shauna is Shauna, and she's thriving, and I just want her to continue. I think that means, you know, at some point continuing her education, because I think that, number one, I think she was good at it. She enjoyed it, and I think she should go back and finish that up. If you need anything else, let me know.